Hi, my name is Kim Marks Malone, and I'm a freelance public relations consultant based in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm also the online programs coordinator, a PR instructor, and the advisor for the student-run agency at the University of Memphis. Today, I want to talk to you about PR planning. More specifically, I want to dive into an area that often confuses even the most experienced PR professionals. That is understanding goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. Before we go jump off the deep end, let's review the importance of PR planning and where it fits into the four-step process. Research, planning, implementation, and evaluation, or RPI as it's commonly called. This is the four-step process. Now, you may also have heard it referred to as ROPE, which stands for Research, Action Planning, Communication and Relationship Building, and Evaluation. No matter which acronym you've learned, the basic principles are the same. The four-step process informs your public relations plan with qualitative and quantitative data. It lifts the public relations function from tactical to strategic and transforms PR measurement from output-based to outcomes-focused. Planning identifies what needs to be accomplished, whom we need to reach, the message or messages we need to convey, and how we're going to reach our key publics. You must also plan how to evaluate your PR plan. What metrics will you use to measure your success? Now, today our focus is on what we want to accomplish, our goals and objectives, and how we will accomplish it through strategies and tactics. Goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. These are the building blocks of your PR plan. So you want to be sure that you have a clear understanding of what they are and what they aren't. You'll find slight variations in explanations for these terms, but these are what resonate with me. And the acronym GHOST helps me to remember to start with goals. Then objectives break goals down into specific and measurable ways. When you start to develop the strategies, you have to think about how are you going to achieve your objectives? What approaches are you going to take? And then you can finally look at the tactics. These are the specific actions you will take, or if you will, your to-do list. Now, let's look at an example of how these four elements relate to each other and how they're unified in your plan. To demonstrate GHOST in action, here's an example. Your client is Memphis-based spicy sauce, and they want to expand into New Orleans and become well-known in this new market. One objective to help achieve this goal might be to secure 5 blog posts in New Orleans food blogs in 3 months. The strategy? Collaborate with food bloggers and editors in New Orleans because they will lend a credible third-party endorsement for spicy sauce. A few of the tactics for this strategy might be to compile a list of food bloggers in New Orleans and then send each of them a sample of spicy sauce with a recipe card and invite them to give it a try. Notice that the objective is specific, measurable, and includes a time element. More about that in just a minute, but first, let's take a closer look at writing your goal. Now, goals are usually hard to quantify, and they're what you would like to accomplish in big, broad, general terms. There are 3 types of goals to consider in your PR planning: reputation management, relationship management, and task management goals. It's not necessary, and it's probably unlikely that you'll have each type of goal in your plan. But your new client is an ice cream shop that's getting ready to open in your city. And the owner is very ambitious and wants to focus on each of the 3 types of goals. So let's see what that could look like. Reputation management goals deal with the identity and perception of the organization or client. In this case, the goal is to introduce the new ice cream shop to residents, positioning it as a place to bring the family for a fresh and cool treat. Relationship management goals focus on how the organization connects with its publics. For the ice cream shop, the goal is to promote an appreciation for its differentiation, that is, its use of fresh ingredients from local farms. Task management goals are concerned with getting certain things done. The ice cream shop's goal here is to begin attracting family crowds as the shop hopes to become the go-to spot for Friday night ice cream. Where goals are what you want to achieve in general terms, objectives are what you want to achieve in specific detail. Your objectives break down your goal in a specific and measurable way. An easy way to remember the elements of an appropriate PR objective is to think SMART. Your objectives need to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Now, let's look at our ice cream shop's goals and some sample objectives to help illustrate this. Keeping SMART in mind, here are examples of how we can achieve our clients' intangible goals with tangible objectives. When it's time to write your objectives, ask yourself what needs to happen to achieve the goal. Your objectives should center around action verbs, and because they're measurable, they will contain numbers. The example of an objective for the first goal is to secure 3 blog posts in local media within 60 days. It's specific and measurable, 3 blog posts, and it's time-bound, within 60 days. It does seem attainable, and it's definitely relevant to managing the reputation of the new ice cream shop. Now, one note here. If you find yourself including the word by in your objective, for example, you say, secure 3 blog posts in local media by collaborating with food bloggers, then you've slipped into writing a strategy, which is what we're going to look at next. The strategy is probably the hardest for most people to grasp, and it's probably the hardest for most people to write as well. Strategies are not tactics. The strategy is how you're going to achieve the objectives in general terms. So thinking about our ice cream shop client, if the objective is to secure 3 blog posts within 60 days, then the strategy, or the how am I going to do this, is collaborate with local food bloggers and food editors. When you're writing your strategy, don't include the to. Then you're just restating your objective. For example, don't say collaborate with local food bloggers and food editors to secure articles in the local media. And don't include the word by, because then you've moved into tactics, which is what we're going to tackle next. So unfortunately, many people like to start with tactics. It's really easy to do, especially when you, or maybe even your client, are super excited about a tactic and really, really want to implement it. The temptation becomes to work backward to the objective that fits the tactic. But then you get stuck trying to force unaligned or non-strategic objectives into goals. It's not until we've laid out our goals, objectives, and strategies that we can look to the specific actions that we'll take to achieve our objectives. That is, the tactics. To outline your tactics, go back to your strategy and the measurable objectives. In our example of the ice cream shop, we decided that our strategy is to collaborate with local food bloggers and food editors. Ask yourself what actions you need to take to make this happen. These will be your tactics. A few tactics you might consider in this scenario could be to compile a list of all the local food bloggers and food editors, and then to invite them all to a soft opening of the shop to sample the ice cream and get to know the employees. Now, I don't think that any discussion of tactics would be complete without also discussing the PESO model of media. If you aren't familiar with the model, it was created by Gina Dietrich, the CEO and founder of the PR blog Spin Sucks. I highly recommend you follow her blog to stay up on current trends in the profession. The PESO model merges paid, earned, owned, and shared media. Now, when you're building out your tactics, look at each of the media types and see where you can integrate them to help them drive each other. In our ice cream shop example, you'll want to be sure and share any earned media you get, that is the blog posts or the articles, on your website and social media channels. Additionally, you'd want to be sure to take photos of the soft opening to use as content for your website and social media posts or in any other visual content that you might create. I want to leave you with a few final thoughts and some questions you might want to think about when you're working on your next PR plan. Goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics are unified, and you need all 4 elements in your plan. Remember that acronym, GHOST. Now, when it comes time to lay out your strategies and tactics, remember your audience. Ask yourself, where is my audience? Where are they located? And go where they are. And remember, we've only touched on the second step of the 4-step process, and you're going to need all 4 steps. And with that, I want to thank you for your time today. I hope that you're walking away with a better understanding of PR planning and the differences between goals, objectives, strategies, and tactics. Connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, and be sure to share your PR plans and successes with me.